What's up, my name is Dr. Alex Straley. In this video, we're going to talk about how to decrease pain when getting up from a chair, squatting, or benching. So before we get into this video, take the 3 seconds to go down there, hit that thumbs up to like it, and if you want to see more content just like this, make sure to subscribe. So what does the bench, squat, and getting up from a chair have in common? Wrist extension. The wrists go through a lot of stress with the squats and the bench. Especially if you're doing a low bar squat, you're really relying on your wrist to help maintain its stability. If you hold the bar higher up in your hand on the bench, you're also going to need more wrist extension. Things outside of the gym that require wrist extension, such as pushing up from a chair, pushing a box, or even washing your hair. If you get back into this position, that's wrist extension. We're going to take a look at 2 mobilizations and 2 training modifications to reduce wrist pain. So the first mobilization involves wrapping a band around the wrist, and then you're going to lean into it. You're going to wrap the band around your wrist and have the other side pulling down and towards your body. You can then lean over the wrist for increased intensity. The second mobilization only involves your hands. Place the forearm you intend to mobilize on a countertop or even on your leg, leaving the wrist hanging off. This is going to help stabilize the mobilization. With your other hand, you're going to do a slight distraction or pulling, and then you're going to push the hand towards the palm. The key here is to stay relaxed. You don't need to crank it to end range, and it should not be painful. Do this for about 30 seconds, let off, and try again 2 more times. Once you're done 3 times, go ahead and see how far back you can actually extend your wrist now. It should have improved. If after doing this one for a few sessions you're not finding any relief, you can try and do the opposite ways, so mobilizing it towards the back of the hand. So there's 2 training modifications I'm going to talk about to help reduce the load on the wrist. The first one is how you actually hold the bar. Especially when you're squatting, you can do a thumbless grip. You can see here the difference between having my thumb around the bar and not having it around the bar. The last training modification is using wrist wraps. Wrist wraps are a very common thing to use for both squatting and benching. One tip you can do though is to keep your wrist in flexion before you wrap it. So the way that I'll do this is keep my wrist in neutral. I'll go 1 time around, and from here, flex the wrist and then finish it off. So from here, my wrist is actually in flexion. Now this wrap on the back side is going to provide more stability and support onto the wrist, so that when you do have a lot of weight on there, the wrap itself is actually going to take some of that force and decrease the pain on the wrist. I hope you find these tips useful, and let me know down in the comments what are you having pain with right now. I'll catch you on the next one.